Hello and good day. I am Kenneth Banal from BSE 2B Mathematics, and I'm here to report about outcomes in different levels. But first, before we proceed to my topic, I want to briefly discuss what an outcome-based education. Outcome-based education is a model of education that rejects the traditional focus on what the school provides to students in favor of making students demonstrate that they know and are able to do whatever the required outcomes are. OBE empowers students to take more responsibility for their own learning and supports the move to greater student engagement with the curriculum and to student-centered approaches. Unlike traditional education system that only sets certain standards to the students and present the knowledge and skills of the older generation to the new generation of students. Outcome-based education formulates content around activities that leads to specific outcomes. It directly leads to increasing the proficiency of a particular skill, knowledge, or behavior of the students. The emphasis in an OBE education system is measured on outcomes rather than inputs, such as how many hours students spend in a class or what textbooks are provided. Outcomes may include a range of skills and knowledge. Generally, outcomes are expected to be concrete and measurable. A complete system of outcomes for a subject area normally includes everything from mere recitation of fact to complex analysis and interpretation. Writing appropriate and measurable outcomes can be very difficult, and the choice of specific outcomes is often a source of local controversies. Each educational agency is responsible for setting its own outcomes. Under the OBE model, education agencies may specify any outcomes, skills, and knowledge, but not inputs like field trips, arrangement of school day, or even teaching styles. And now, let's proceed on outcomes in different levels or the multiple levels of learning outcomes. First, the core student learning outcomes or the course SLOs. These are learning outcomes that we expect students to achieve after they have completed a course. SLOs are not grades but observable skills. Student learning outcomes are statements that specify the students will know, be able to do, or be able to demonstrate when they have completed or participated in a course or a program. Student learning outcomes also articulates what a student should know or can do after completing a course or a program. The assessment of student learning outcomes provides information that puts students' learning at the forefront of academic planning process. For example, instead of how many students receive an A's or D's in the course, the SLOs are geared to describe a specific skill that is acquired which is a central to the course. Also, in course student learning outcomes, they may involve knowledge or the cognitive, skills or behavioral, or attitudes, the affective, to provide evidence that learning has occurred. And next is the program learning outcomes or PLOs. These are learning outcomes we expect students to achieve after completing a degree or path of study. Program learning outcomes serves as guide for students and faculty to ensure that students are knowledgeable and competitive in their future professions. Program learning outcomes are a description of knowledge, competencies, and values a student displays at the end or conclusion of the program. Program learning outcomes help students understand why this knowledge and these competencies will be useful to them. Program learning outcomes are broad statements that describe what graduates of a program will be able to do out there as a result of what they have learned in the program. To better understand the course learning outcomes or the course SLOs and the program learning outcomes or the PLOs, let's have a look at these pictures. These two pictures have similar ingredients, but why is only one a salad? And here's the explanation. Core student learning outcomes identify the ingredients that make up the program. Incremental knowledge and skills that students develop bit by bit throughout the program. And it is aligned with, but typically narrower than, a program outcomes. Program learning outcomes, characterized as the salad, is what the individual ingredients make once they are prepared and integrated. Students' cumulative learning across courses at the end of the program. And based on this explanation, course student learning outcomes and program learning outcomes are connected to each other. To summarize, core student learning program is bits of knowledge and skills that students acquired in a certain course. Then program learning outcomes includes the overall knowledge and skills a student acquired throughout the program. And next, let's talk about institutional learning outcomes or ILOs. These are the knowledge, skills, abilities, and attitudes that students are expected to develop as a result of their overall experiences with any aspect of the college, including courses, programs, and student services. Institutional learning outcomes are the big ideas students should be able to articulate, put into action, or utilize theoretically or pragmatically after completing courses or programs. And come to think of it, how are ILOs different from other student learning outcomes? And here is the explanation. They are interrelated to each other. ILOs are the collective expressions of the learning environment of the college offer to any enrolled students. Students' learning outcomes focus on the more particular skills, knowledge, and attitudes that the students learn in their courses and programs. Here are some examples of big ideas that the student should be able to put in action. In communication, they should critically read, write, and communicate interpersonally with audience awareness and analyze communications for meaning, purpose, effectiveness, and logic. For critical thinking, identify problems or arguments and isolate facts related to arguments, and use evidence and sound reasoning to justify well-informed positions, and generate multiple solutions to problems and predict consequences. Next is in computational skills or quantitative reasoning, they should master computational concepts and apply them to concrete problems and demonstrate algorithm or algorithmic competence. Then, in global awareness and valuing diversity, they should identify and explain diverse customs, beliefs, and lifestyles, and analyze how cultural, historical, and geographical issues shape perceptions, and in self-awareness and interpersonal skills or teamwork, they should analyze their own actions and perspectives of other persons and work effectively with others in groups. And then we have service area outcomes or the SAOs. These are explicit statements describing knowledge, skills, abilities, and or attitudes that a student will be able to demonstrate at the end or as a result of his or her engagement in a particular lesson, course, program, or collegiate experience. A service area outcomes or SAOs is a statement about what a client will experience, receive, or know as a result of a given service. A client can be anyone receiving a service including students, faculty, staff, and community members. And to sum it up, learning outcomes are indicators of success of an academic course or program. Learning outcomes give a clear idea of what can be achieved by joining a particular program, whether it is a short course or a degree program. The learning outcome should be listed and written down before the start of the course to know and check whether the course is designed and conducted perfectly. Based on the identified learning outcomes, teaching context, learning activities, and assessment schemes have to be properly designed to successfully conduct and complete the course program. And that is all. Thank you. I hope you learned something. Keep safe and God bless.